Welcome to our CoSIDA Special Awards video tributes. Today we are honoring our distinguished 2020 and 2021 Warren Berg Award recipients. The Berg Award is an annual CoSIDA honor given to a CoSIDA College Division member who has made outstanding contributions to the field of sports information and who by his or her activities has brought dignity and prestige to the profession. I'm Blake Timm, Assistant Commissioner for Communications at the Great Northwest Athletic Conference. And as the 2017 Warren Berg recipient, I am thrilled to speak to our most recent Berg honorees and good friends. Our 2020 recipient is Cindy Potter, Senior Deputy Director of Athletics at Columbia College in Missouri. And our 2021 honoree, Dave Reed, Colorado College's Associate Director of Athletic Communications. Congratulations to you both. We so wish that we could honor you both in person and in front of your peers and colleagues. Yet thank you for joining us today via video. We'll start with you, Cindy. What's especially significant in this Warren Berg Award honor is that it's nominated by and voted upon by your peers. And your peers have continually recognized you as a leader in CoSIDA. You led NAIA CIDA, then you were selected to serve on the executive board the last few years. And now you're getting ready to take that step of becoming CoSIDA's president for the 2021-22 academic year. What does this Warren Berg Award mean to you?
Thanks, Blake. Well, first I want to congratulate Dave. Pretty neat to be honored this way. And I actually don't mind. I'd much rather be in person with everybody, but I'm not a stage person, so this is good. This is good. But I'm really honored to be, to join this illustrious group of people. I'm sure it sounds cliche when I say this, but I'm really humbled by this honor. I really just truly am. And when I take a look at the list of former winners of this award, yourself included, Blake, I see so many friends and mentors in the business, and it's really still hard to believe that my name is next to theirs. So in some ways, this is I made it moment with this award, and just to be nominated by a great friend and be chosen by this special group of colleagues has been one of the highlights of my career.
So Dave, since the inaugural presentation of the Berg Award back in 1985, you are the first assistant or associate SID, the first non-department head to earn this prestigious honor. Tell us what that means to you.
Well, it's unbelievable, really, because you spend your entire career in the background, kind of, and that's what we do as sports information directors anyway. Is we're out there promoting everybody else, and to be thought of as someone along the lines of Fred Noosh and Pete Nevins, that were the first two winners, and then as Cindy mentioned, the names of the people that came before us are just amazing, like Ann King and Jack Newman and Kevin Ruppel and Cindy and Blake. To be mentioned in the same breath as you all, it's really, as Cindy said, humbling. But it's also something you have to live up to now, because people expect more when you have Berg winner next to your name. And it's something I'll strive to do going forward.
So for both of you, thinking back on these last 14 months during the pandemic, what are some things that got you through the good and not so good times? And what lessons and advice would you pass on to athletic communicators today as we continue to navigate these challenging times in college athletics? And Cindy, we'll begin with you.
Well, for me, Blake, it's really a special group of CoSIDA friends that have gotten me through some really tough times and continue to do so even now. Just a couple weeks after everything shut down last spring, a group of friends that I like to call the Blue Chair Group, we got together and we started a weekly Sunday night Zoom session. This has continued this whole time, every Sunday, with the exception of a couple breaks for a wedding and holidays. But this has been without a doubt the light at the end of some very tough weeks for me. Being 1,000 miles away from home and my family has been extremely difficult. But I really am overly grateful for these friends that have become more like my family. So my advice would be to get yourself a Blue Chair group or to come join us. It's incredibly important and therapeutic to have others who can understand your professional struggles, but care just as much, if not more, about you as a person. And being able to talk through these frustrations and hard times and then celebrate victories both sports related and not, with others that have your best interest at heart, has become just priceless in my life.
Dave, how about you?
I lean on my family a lot. My wife, Gary Ann, also works at Colorado College in the economics and business department. And we kind of went through the same thing. And, so we were home a lot together along with our son. And we were just trying to stay in a sense of normalcy as much as possible. And, one of the things that I kept saying is, we need to keep working hard during this time. It was almost like vacation, like a summer break, but it wasn't. I tried to volunteer a lot. I went to COVID testing quite a bit to help people get through the lines and sign up so they could get their test results back. And I thought the more that I helped out, the better it would be for everybody. And I also tried to work ahead a lot because I knew what was coming in the spring when we finally started playing again. With all the sports overlapping, you kind of knew what was going to come, but no one has ever seen anything like it. But I think that really got me through and made our spring seasons a huge success.
That's great. So Cindy, coming back to you, talking about your leadership roles in both CoSIDA and the NAIA. As a parent with 2 children, you've immersed yourself in volunteer leadership with both of these organizations, all at the same time while holding down the number 2 position in the Columbia College Athletic Department. How do you manage this, and what words of wisdom can you pass along about work-life integration?
Thanks, Blake. Really, I will say, first off, I am not the poster child for any sort of work-life balance. But to me, serving the NAIA and serving CoSIDA, being the voice for so many of our members is just such an important part of my life. I want my kids, especially my daughter, to see that I never shy away from hard work and late nights, especially, and tough conversations. And so I don't pretend that this has been easy. These are important years in my children's lives, and for some, and some of the most important for me professionally, but there's nothing I would rather be doing. Serving in these roles is truly a labor of love, and sometimes that sounds silly, but it really is. And so I'm just trying my best to soak in every last minute of it, because these years have flown by, and in another 2 years I'll be done with my service to both CoSIDA and NAIA, and that seems kind of crazy. I feel like I have spent my entire CoSIDA professional career in some sort of leadership role, and but at that point maybe I'll be looking forward to a break. So
something tells me you'll never be completely done serving CoSIDA or the NAIA, knowing how active you've been over the years.
That's probably true.
So Dave, same question to you. You've worked in leadership positions on and off campus. You've been on the CoSIDA board. You've worked on the former CoSIDA College Division Management Advisory Committee, member of numerous CoSIDA committees, and you've chaired Colorado College's Staff Council. What would you say to those CoSIDA members who might have aspirations to volunteer in the organization or on their campuses, but maybe hesitate because they don't feel like they have the time?
I would say that's probably one of the biggest mistakes you could make, because really, while most people think they can't afford the time to get involved, you really can't afford not to get involved. It's important to represent the department that you work for on campus. And the more you know about what's going on, and the more people know about what you do for the school, not just the athletic department, that's a big step forward for everybody, that you work with on a day-to-day basis. And then, at the national level, there are jobs and duties that CoSIDA needs help with all the time. And the more you get involved with the people of CoSIDA, the more you get involved with your fellow colleagues and members, you start building these relationships over time. And that really helps out when you get into a pinch. You need something from somebody else, and it's really hard to call somebody you don't know. But, Blake, you and I have had a relationship for such a long time. When you needed a football helmet, you called me. When I needed a PA announcer or someone to sing the national anthem, you were there. And that's something that you can't do unless you have that relationship that's already in place. So I would suggest that people start small, and build your way up through the organization. I can't thank the people enough that I worked with early in my career, because they suggested and really wanted me to be involved in CoSIDA. And that's really paid me huge dividends throughout my career.
And you kind of mentioned it there, even in this technological age, it's all about relationships, even today. So Dave, back to you. Colorado College has had the distinction of participating in both Division I and NCAA Division III sports. 14 of your sports participate in Division III, and you've been the main contact for most of them, while also serving as the media relations contact for Division I women's soccer. Tell us about the advantages of working in both divisions and the advantages of having teams compete in both divisions.
I really believe that what it did for me was I have friendships and relationships with people across all divisions, both Division I, Division III. I started for my first 5 years in Division I, then stepped away to work at USA Today and developed relationships at places I never thought I would know people. And then when I came back to Colorado College, it was Division III primarily, but we also compete with a lot of Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference schools in Division II. So it's really been across all 3 or 4, different levels of competition where I have colleagues, I have friends, I have people that I can turn to when I need some help. I love to support other people when they get in a pinch and need someone to come and help them also. The Division I, Division III split is really interesting, but what it did for me is it gave me insight that I could learn things from the Division I level and bring those to Division III. And I really believe people at the Division I level could look at the small colleges and say, oh, they do things really well. Maybe we should start doing things like that. Case in point, when I started here, volleyball, I'd get a piece of paper after a weekend and it had the stats from all 4 matches. And I'm like, what is this? And so what we started doing long before the NCAA mandated in-game scoring, we were doing, scoring for every neutral game, every home match, and we just felt that was the way to do it. So hopefully somebody will take what we do and use that to their advantage.
That's great. So Cindy, this is a special time for not only you, but for the NAIA as a whole. You've earned this Warren Berg honor. You're about to become the first NAIA member to serve as CoSIDA president and the 5th woman to assume the presidency. Jim Carr, the NAIA CEO and president, was just recognized with CoSIDA's Keith Jackson Eternal Flame Award for outstanding contributions to college athletics and for supporting the missions of CoSIDA. What does all this mean for you, and what does it mean for the NAIA?
Well, like I said before, this honor is still hard to believe, but ultimately I hope that it means that, I've opened up the door for others to walk through, just as the women before me in the president role have walked, and just as Warren Berg did. I'm honored to not only be the first ever NAIA member to serve as CoSIDA president, but the first college division female member to do so. And ultimately, I wish that I'm not the first in any of these categories. I can think of many others who deserve to be in my seat, but I know that their time is coming. And the NAIA is long overdue for this recognition, and I could not be more proud that Jim Carr is going to be recognized this year. And it's just it is really a culmination and a special year for me and the NAIA. Personally, I've never been the most talented at anything or the best at anything, really. I own that, but I do know that no amount of talent can beat hard work. And Dave said it before, just work hard and keep your head down and work hard, and we know what's coming. And so hard work and a positive attitude, those are 2 things that I hope will be my mark left on this organization.
Absolutely. So for both of you, there are many people who have helped all of us along the way on this journey. Are there people that you would like to acknowledge who have helped you, mentored you throughout your career? And Dave, we'll start with you.
So many that, I'm scared to do this because I'm going to leave someone out. And there's no question. The first 2 gentlemen that I have to mention would be Doug Hochschild and John Heisler, both Hall of Famers, Doug at the University of Dayton and John at the University of Notre Dame. I learned so much from them. And it was they who suggested that I get involved in CoSIDA. And so I cannot thank them enough. I worked with someone who I knew from Western Michigan and worked with her at USA Today, and her name was Cindy Pavla. And she had the work ethic of two people, and I was just amazed by her professionalism and her attention to detail and the long hours she was willing to put in, especially at USA Today. And, she really was a role model for me and a mentor. And I'm appreciative. I'm sorry she's out of the business, because she really was a trailblazer. She was one of the first women to be a Division I hockey SID. But just an amazing person. And then Dave Morass and Jerry Cross at Colorado College, they've been a pleasure to work with, and we've had such a great relationship. We're almost interchangeable because we have the skills that we can do almost anything that we're thrown into. A couple of coaches, Debbie Brown at Notre Dame and Horst Richardson at Colorado College. I had such great admiration for them. Debbie introduced me to everybody in Division I women's volleyball, and that turned into a career as a freelancer, and that really paid off. And then most importantly, my parents were unbelievable role models. Both of them have passed away, so they're not here to enjoy this with me, but they did everything they could to make sure my sisters and I had great private educations growing up, and that really set the tone for the way I approach what I do. I have to give a lot of credit to my wife and best friend, Gary Ann, and my son, Jackson, who is my IT man at 14 years old, and my karate partner. So, they keep me going on a day-to-day basis, and, I hope I've made them proud as well.
And hopefully the IT and the karate don't come at the same time.
No, but sometimes you want to hit your laptops pretty hard.
So, Cindy, same question to you. People who have helped you and mentored you throughout your career.
First, I'll have to say, thank you to Jeff Hodges for nominating me for this award. And Jeff has always been somebody that I look to for advice, and to know that he thinks of me in this way is extremely humbling. I have to give a shout out to Blake and Oliver Pierce for taking the right airport shuttle back in 2006, and and being kind of my first connection to a lot of the right people right from the get-go for me. So I'd like to thank Columbia College and the administrative support that I've received here between my athletic directors, Bob Burchard and James Arnold, really just to allow me to serve in these roles. It is time consuming, and they've been very accepting and supportive of that. To the CoSIDA staff and executive board of directors, both past and current, and especially current president Sam Atkinson for all his leadership over this very trying year, and really over the past few years that I've been a vice president. So if I tried to name everybody, you're right, Dave, I'd probably forget somebody. So I'll say specifically the female past presidents and yet to be president in Jess Poole, my Blue Chair group, and my family, especially my parents, my husband Corey, and my kids Caitlin and Chase, really just for allowing me to do what I love and supporting me and loving me through it all.
Well, Cindy and Dave, congratulations again on winning the Warren Berg Award, and I'm looking forward to when we can all be together and we can celebrate and enjoy just each other's friendship again. So thank you, congratulations, and thank you for your time and for all the years of dedication to CoSIDA and the profession.
Thank you, Blake.
Thank you, Blake. And Cindy, it's an absolute honor to be on the same list of award winners with you. So congratulations.